In previous posts, I decoded the various names of Outlook to get past the confusion across the Outlook versions. There are a lot of Outlook versions, and they did need to be clarified. In this article, I tackle the term to do and what that name can mean across various Microsoft products. Decoding to do is needed because with the greater integration of Microsoft To Do with their products, we now have potential for serious confusion. In fact, let's look at 4 examples where it can be confusing, and we'll decode that for you. First is in Microsoft To Do itself. As you know, the new product Microsoft To Do is the main task app that Microsoft is focusing on now. But many people are using the old task app as well. Still, these days, if Microsoft mentions To Do, they're either referring to this module, the To Do module, or a task item inside of it. The module replaces the old Outlook task module for all new products. However, Microsoft still supports the old classic version of Outlook 2 and the tasks in there, and they often refer to the tasks in the old Outlook as to-dos as well. So it does get confusing. Now, to mitigate issues, Microsoft has set up an automatic instant synchronization between the two systems for a given Microsoft account, so tasks from each mostly match, whether you look at the old Outlook or the new one. And that's great, but they are not fully interchangeable, and that can lead to some problems. The main example of an issue is this. In the old system, there is a 3-level field called priority with choices high, normal, and low. And that's in the old Outlook system. But in the new to-do system, there is no priority field. The closest equivalent to the priority field is the importance field in the new system, and the importance field is the star. So when the star is triggered, that's high importance, and if the star is empty, that means no importance. Now, as I said, Microsoft tries to sync things together, and it tries to sync priority with importance, and it sort of succeeds with high priority tasks because those map into the important level of the new to-do system. So the star is set for those. But for normal and low priority tasks in old Outlook, Microsoft maps all those to an importance of none. And that causes all sorts of issues. So be very careful when switching between the two systems. The best solution is to fully cut over to the new to-do system and leave the old one behind. You can still use that while using the old Outlook. Just use To-Do as your task system. But if you must use both, then be sure you understand which system, old or new, you're working with when dealing with to-dos in Microsoft products these days. Microsoft almost always means the new system, but there are exceptions, and I'll mention one in the next case. Okay, the next case is the to-do bar. In the old Outlook, there's a special tool called the to-do bar, and it's the to-do bar that some of us still think of when we think of the word to-do. After all, look at the name. However, these days that can be enormously confusing because the to-do bar's tasks can act differently from tasks in the new Microsoft To Do. The old to-do bar links only with the old task module, so that's important. I really like that old to-do bar, and I wrote entire books about using the to-do bar in Outlook. It was the primary tool where I recommended my users use to manage tasks in the old Outlook. It still is if you want to keep using old tasks. It's still your best tool. But don't get it confused with Microsoft To Do, nor with the to-dos found in Microsoft's mobile tasks app, which I'm going to discuss next. One thing nice about the 2017 release of Microsoft To Do was that Microsoft also released iPhone and Android apps for their tasks. This is the first time Microsoft has released mobile task apps, and it's great to have them. However, you must be aware that the to-dos shown in the mobile apps are from the new Microsoft To Do app. They are not from the old task app. So if you are an old Outlook task app user and still using it, note that many fields you might be expecting to see will be absent or incorrect when you're trying to use across the two systems. You might be able to work around that due to the sync, but not with MYN. MYN will not work with the iPhone and Android apps unless you're using the To Do app back at your desktop. And finally, there's one last thing for you to look at and be careful with. In the new Outlook, there's a view called the To Do view. It's a view within Outlook's My Day pane. Here it is here. Let me show you it on the screen. Now this view is useful, but it can be confusing too. It is Microsoft's replacement for the old to-do bar that I discussed a moment ago. And one might think the to-do bar and the to-do view show the same things, right? Well, no. The to-do bar shows tasks from the old task module, and the to-do view shows tasks from the new Microsoft To-Do app. So while it is sort of a replacement, it does not show the same tasks. So if you want to use the new Outlook and its new views there, like the My Day view, then the best solution would be to finally let go of the old Outlook task module and start using only the new Microsoft To-Do module to manage tasks. And don't forget that my new video course teaches you how to do that. Go to this link to learn more.